Check it out. So it's going to be 2 videos by Rev Says Desu because there is the original. We want the context here. This is something that I have watched, but we are going to watch over it again because we're going to go. I need y'all to understand the context as well. All right. And I think it's important to understand what's happening and what exactly what the results are. And we'll go over it. Let's just get into it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Right here. So today we're going to be covering some pretty controversial topics, all centering on this video right here. So the Too Long Didn't Read version of events goes like this. A YouTuber named Kat uploaded this video rehashing some drama that already died down about a month ago, where she attacks this Loli Vtuber group and in the process spreads misinformation, slanders several parties, even says it's justified to harass these individuals. And in the wake of that video, multiple VTubers from this group have been mass flagged and suspended on Twitter, and on top of that, several members of her community have proudly shared that they reported these
there's tons. What do you mean?
Individuals to the
Dude,
FBI.
go on Twitter. There's a lot of groups.
Content. And
sorry, hold on. I'm double audioing here. I need to mute this one.
What was her response to all this? All these criticism people?
Now, we can say what we want about a particular VTuber's model, because let's be honest, there's some models that just don't look good. There's some models that just that's garbage. There's some models that just look, I get what you're going for, and I can see that eventually, if it gets fleshed out, it's gonna look good, but it just don't look good. You know what I'm saying? That just exists, you know. But so you could judge somebody else's model and what their choice of model is, sure, but it takes it to a whole different level, and me personally takes it to a very messed up place when you actually start to basically tell people that it's okay to harass these individuals because there is an actual person there. You get me? They're not doing anything wrong. They're not doing anything illegal.
People are raising surrounding this video. She has said that she is much larger than these channels and they could never hope to dent her career.
Look, I'm gonna be fully honest, and this is gonna be mean. They're not big enough to put a dent in me, to be honest, okay?
So obviously there's a lot to unpack.
Now this is what makes it even worse, is that these are all just VTubers, basically voice actors. Let's be honest. I personally see VTubing as voice acting. These are basically just voice actors trying to get by, trying to make a career out of this. It's freaking tough out here. They're not doing anything illegal. This is just their model. Chibidoki is one of the most famous examples of a little, I guess, chibi little lolly character. Rev said, I think Rev here is a freaking lolly technically too, right? Something right? Yeah. Does he advocate for that? Do you have actual videos of that happening? But as far as we can definitely all agree that there's a very distinct difference between a child and what's the lolly body type. You could definitely see Rev here, this lolly body type. You could see adult women with that body type. They exist. Let's be honest here. We're not gonna freaking play. We're not gonna play, pretend and act like things are not what they are. Now, if we go back here, you can see what's, I would say, just straight up a child. Now, if anybody looking at any kind of, I don't care if it's real or not real, if you're looking at naked pictures of any of these four, I'm judging you. That's just a fact. Let's just be real here. That's about crossing the line right there. That's about where I draw the line. There is a line, I feel but technically all the characters you see on the screen are lollies, not me. Don't look at me. I'm not a lolly. I'm a cartoon / anime hybrid. Okay. I'm not listen, don't start with me. I'm not a freaking lolly. Point being, I'd have to see. I'd have to see more of those videos. I haven't really watched any videos on Rev. I pretty much just like watch his videos for like the news and stuff. But what's happening here now is that we have a freaking huge YouTuber basically just sending harassment campaigns at a group of small VTubers because they decided that they enjoy the cute little characters. Now, if any of these VTubers are like, let's say, lewd tubers, while being these chibi models, we can have a discussion about that. Does that give somebody else the right to harass? Or send harassment waves, I should say? Still, no.
Her career.
Look, I'm gonna be fully honest, and this is gonna be mean. They're not big enough to put a dent in me, to be honest, okay?
So obviously there's a lot to unpack here, so let's get right into the context. We're going to be focusing on the YouTuber who made that video, a content creator named Catliente or...
Now, I also have to make sure that we are fully fair here as well. Catliente is in no way responsible, unless you know, I haven't seen this like footage, unless there's like a clip here where suddenly she's like, go and talk smack, like, you know, that's different. But Catliente, in no way is she responsible for the actions of her audience. You get me? The people who are harassing these people, they are harassing people. Period. That is their actions. That is their decision to make.
Simply known as Cat. And you can see they have recently rebranded some of their content, in particular on YouTube, where they call themselves now a news YouTuber. Not a drama tuber, nothing like that. A news YouTuber. Now, if you look at their content generally, a lot of people are confused because for years and years, their content centered on basically trying to better content creators by sharing advice on how to grow on various social media platforms. So a lot of people are very confused as to the big shift in her content recently. You can...
No, I feel that. No, I can explain that one, actually. Because if you actually want to grow your channel and become like freaking huge, like become just ginormous, one of the easiest ways to do that is to make some kind of self-help video, some kind of educational video. I've even debated making my own little, like, how to sign up for Luppet, how to use Luppet, how to, you know, connect that to, you know, use Streamlabs, you know. I've debated doing stuff like that too. I just don't really have the time to sit and film all that. But, realistically speaking, a lot of views go towards self-help videos, especially if it's something new. Because what's the first thing you do when you go and search on Google? You're like, let's say you need help on, you know, I'm just gonna say how to, you all know how to use YouTube, but let's say you're trying to figure it out. You haven't, it's freaking beyond your freaking knowledge. Hey, how do I do this thing? Let me show you how do I do this thing. I pressed I on the keyboard, and now it like became a little window. Whoa, crazy technology. And I can't move it around? That sucks. That's stupid. Why not? Why can't I move it?
You can see exactly...
Shut up! Alright, look, point being, you're trying to figure that out. So what do? You go on YouTube and you figure out, you know, how the frick do I fix the issue, you know, Streamlabs, no work goo. Streamlabs no work goo. Now, of course, me, I was trying to figure out the issue, like, alright, well, look at this, this is from a year ago, I don't know if I want, you know, it's got, oh, but it still do have 29,000 views, so that must mean that there's a lot of people going to this, right? But, you know, that might be a little bit outdated, you know? So there might be something new. Oh, this was from 9 months ago, you see, this was from 4 years ago, you know, this might not be relevant no more, suddenly. You get me? So, there's constantly a market for something new, and you'll see that a lot of times, creators will even make the same exact guide, but just with better, like, you know, maybe a little bit easier. They've been editing for a while longer now, so they'll fix it up. So it, like, just self-help videos. always do great. They always do amazing because there's people constantly, there's always a market. People are constantly looking for that newest video that's going to be relevant to the current times with the current software and the current patch version and the current whatevers. So it's always a great idea to do that if you want to grow your channel initially, and then sort of like slowly shift over into something that you actually want to do for yourself. So I actually totally understand this. But that being said, if this is like your first time trying to be a news YouTuber and it's like leading towards actual harassment, you might want to rethink your like, you might want to rethink the way you're going about it, honestly, because it's only going to lead to like waves of anger and hatred. It's going to be the freaking lolly community getting pissed off at your community. Then your community is going to get pissed off more at them. And then the people who just hate lollies because they hate lollies are going to join in on that side, you know, just because they hate lollies. I'm indifferent to either or. It's like freaking. Though again, like I said, if you're looking at any actual like what looks like actual just children, like we're not gonna lie, we're not gonna pretend here like what's a child and what's like a freaking flat chested like this thing. You get me? I'm gonna judge you all day for that. I'm sorry.
Exactly why she's doing this. So you can see some of the videos here, recent ones. This one saying these scam emails could end your streaming career. 1,000 views. Best free animated overlays. 1.6k views. This VTuber was scammed. 65,000 views. This VTuber copied Shy Lily's design. 109k views. The next video. Streamer Challenge Creator Royale, 400 views. So I think it's very obvious that she has garnered a lot of attention with the...
Yeah, and like, take a look though. Like, the evidence is right there in and of itself. This VTuber was scammed, 65k views. Not bad! Freaking amazing! Compared to me, freaking, you kidding me? Get out of here. But the point being is that that's like a news thing. This is like the Shy Lily situation news thing about Shy Lily, because it has Shy Lily involved. She got herself like an extra 40k views right there, 110 now, well, 50k views, basically. But you go to an educational video, or a top, well, actually, forget everything else. The educational video is at 778. This, of course, is a top 50. People freaking love top lists. Like, you kidding me? I should be, like, she is doing what I should be doing. In fact, I might just, like, start reevaluating my situation, because I can't just keep doing reaction videos. I've been trying to, like, do something. And these are very easy videos to make. They're not complicated at all. In fact, to prove it, I will legitimately add that to the docket for Thursday. I'll freaking make a tier list video. That's a video all in and of itself, and people freaking love tier list videos. I'll freaking edit it, make it... What should I make a tier list video on, Mr. Gamer? Sexiest waifus and gotcha? Ooh. Oh, that's a great idea, Mr. Gamer. Thank you for helping me come up with that idea. Such an amazing idea. I'm gonna do like a tier list of all the waifus in all the gotchas. It's gonna be a gotcha character tier list for like Zenless. I'll do one for Zenless, and I'll do one for Nikkei, and I'll do one for. And like we're gonna go all the way. Like I'm gonna do it like because the Nikkei has the Nikkeipedia, so we can like look at them. I'm gonna get real freaking like degenerate with it. Anyway, let's continue, shall we?
VTuber news and drama type videos, and it's getting way more views than her usual stuff. And clearly that is one of the primary motivations in this shift of her content from.
Yeah, no. See the educational one, the best Twitch studio alternative. 778. Close to 1 million, bruh.
The general stream advice to VTuber and art drama type videos. Now, if you see this one in particular, this is the one that a lot of people are talking about on social media. This is a video she uploaded a few days ago titled, "This Loli Vtuber group started a hate campaign against another VTuber." And you can see there's a large volume of dislikes, and that's for a good reason. This video is spreading a lot of misinformation, and we're going to get into everything that happened. But let's start with the main focus here. This is on the topic of Loli, okay? And as someone who clearly is a tourist to these various...
Alright, I just want to say, before we get into the topic, welcome. Welcome to the official OzDaMonke Get Cancelled speedrun. We're about to roll deep in this one. I'm about, okay?
forms of content. She is definitely new to VTubers, she's new to anime, and it shows because her entire basis is on the fact that these people are lollies and making sometimes sexual content with that stuff. But let's start with her definition of the term lolly.
Ooh, sorry, I've been debating this for a long time now. The chat box makes more sense to have over here. It just does. Like middle of the screen, but on the left side. Because if it's just all the way up there, it doesn't make any sense. I can't look at it like this. Like, what do you think, chat? You know what I'm saying? I can do that. I can do this. I can be like, what do you think, chat? I don't know. I just been sorry.
There is a whole debate on the definition of lolly, and I did not know this was a thing until I made my other video about
I can't figure out what the frick the definition is. Let's get this one thing clear and out of the freaking way. Alright, but I'll tell you what, I don't care. Alright, because they're like I don't know anymore. I don't even care anymore. I just know that there are there's flat-chested characters which you can make the argument are adults. Because there is an adult body type of flat-chested women. Flat booba, flat booty. Like, there's, flat justice, I shout out. But then there's, like, just straight-up children. And it's just a straight-up child, it's just a straight-up child. We're just gonna call it what it is.
Potential lolly baiting VTuber. Whether you think it is or not, up to you. I feel like I covered that piece in a very neutral way. Some people disagree with me. From my understanding of the term lolly, I've only heard of the term lolly used in a negative way, in terms of referring to people who enjoy very, very slightly suggestive.
To the best of my understanding, it is not in negative or positive in any kind of way. It is just specifically to speak about a particular body type in anime.
Childlike content. I have not heard of it used in a context to refer to small, petite women. Some people on the internet, under my other video, were stating that, oh, lolly is just a term to refer to small, petite women. They can be of age. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I have never heard of it used in that form until literally I posted the other video.
So right off the bat, you know...
And I'm gonna say this right now. To the best of my understanding, and honestly, it's not even my understanding, so even though everything here is a lolly, in my opinion, these are just children. The lolly group you will see there are straight up just children. But that being said, that doesn't necessarily... Hey, I will say one thing. I judge it less if it's not intended to be, like, because we're sort of assuming it's intended to be in some kind of fetish or sexual way. That might not be how they're taking it. That might not be how they're doing this. They might be genuinely just a fan of this cutesy, adorable thing. You can be a fan of cute things, of adorable things.
You know things are bad when someone is interchangeably using the term lolly and lolicon. It just shows that they have no idea what they're talking about. And sorry, Urban Dictionary and other places like Twitter are not reliable sources about this. You are being fed misinformation, and you're believing...
No, that's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know that lolly and lolicon are two different things. I'm learning!
Believing that this is somehow a negative connotation by itself and has something to do with age and not a body type in fiction. And as always, disclaimer, it's okay if you are disgusted by this stuff. It's okay if you hate it or don't want to see it. That's totally within your rights. But you're out of your rights when you go out and harass people over this stuff.
I think, full-blown, I will stand the fact that Chibidoki is one of the most adorable and cute freaking VTubers out there. And I will stand it. I will stand her to death. I don't care. You get me? That's adorable to look at, no matter how you look at it. I want a little plushie of her. It's adorable. I like cute things. But I feel like she never fetishizes her model or her, like, chibiness. There's never been that kind of situation. So I don't know.
When you see a group like this and you don't like what they're doing, just block them and move on with your day. Instead, people like Kat and a lot of other people, including VTubers, have gone out of their way to launch witch hunts against these individuals, largely fueled by misinformation surrounding the term lolly, which refers to a petite body type in anime, manga, and other works of fiction. So here is a good example to disprove what they're trying to claim. Like, they're trying to claim that it has to do with age. For example, Rebecca from Cyberpunk is unquestionably a loli character. She fits the definition to a T to anyone who's knowledgeable about this. And a lot of people go, wait a second.
Wait, so he said, so she's loli?
Rebecca from Cyberpunk is unquestionably a loli character. She fits
Okay, so she's loli. I'm into it.
the definition to a T to anyone
She's
who's
gangster.
knowledgeable about this. And a lot of people go, wait a second, she's in her 20s, how does that work? Well, again, it has nothing to do with age. In fact, the creators of the character refer to her as a loli. So if you think I'm wrong,
The loli
you're
must
claiming
stay.
that the studio who made her in Japan
She's gangster. I may have skimmed over the first episode or two, but I haven't fully watched the episodes because I want to watch it live with y'all on Twitch. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna enjoy it. Let's get into it. But yeah,
is also wrong, which is ridiculous. But moving on, we have several videos on her channel that just don't make any sense. She has tackled this subject of loli multiple times, and every single time, it's very clear she has no idea what she's talking about. And she even
poor Bungo Tiger. He's still freaking like off the platform. The dude can't catch a break. I feel so sorry
in
for
that
him.
clip we just watched that she made these videos without even knowing what the definition was before she got into it. Which, by the way, since she is
So wait, so would Loli Khan be the one that's like straight up just a child?
learned the definition, she got the wrong definition. But this video right
But
here,
what's the
she talks
difference
about
there?
the
I
subject
feel like
out of
nobody ever
nowhere,
explains it.
She's very foreign to this. It's a very controversial topic. It led to this VTuber getting harassed by a lot of people. And then the next video she made, she defended Taiga. So in this video, she was demonizing Loli VTubers, and then she defends Taiga, who is a very open Shotokan. And he is
Shotokan. Now, Shotokan is basically Loli, but for like guys, right? Yeah.
someone who was recently banned on YouTube. He's been treated extremely unfairly over the years from many different sources, but she spent 8 minutes here defending
I'm not a Shotokan, don't you dare. I know what you're thinking. I'm not.
him and basically painting him as a victim, which he is a victim in this situation. But she defended him, and she didn't even know he was a Shotokan. She could have done 1 second of research and realized that's who he was. And it's filled in her comment section where people are slandering and
Okay, so but you're saying that yeah, no, that is a bit like messed up. She's defending him over here, but also
harassing him
talking
as a
smack
result
here.
of her making this video in the first place, not knowing the first thing about him.
So if
And
you
here's
like
another great
the,
example.
so if she likes the lolly, then it's okay. But if the lolly is one that she doesn't like, it's not okay. Got it.
This video about the VTuber Irina, 25 minutes she spent talking about this loli VTuber, who definitely is okay with lolicon stuff. It's very obvious by her account. She spends all this time defending her from people doxing her and treating her poorly, and she didn't even know that she's a loli VTuber in the first place. And she expresses her shock in the comment section like, oh, I had no idea about her. Well, I know about her. I covered some harassment she was facing over a year ago.
The frick is this? Why a smash your pass? Oh,
She
come
was
on.
harassed into oblivion by hundreds of VTubers over this smasher
I love how she still asks for safer work. At least she asked for safer work.
pass lolly edition here, and they share the same sentiment.
I feel like you could have avoided a lot of people getting mad if you would have said tier list instead of smash your pass.
That Kat does in her video about the most recent Loli VTuber group that she talked about. And that led to her being harassed, falsely reported, when people could have just blocked and moved on. And on top of that, this narrative of the video itself, just from the title and the thumbnail, paints a very clear picture. She has said that loli is a negative connotation in her mind. Well, she put it right in the thumbnail, so it's already starting off with a negative view of these VTubers. And then read the title. This Loli VTuber group started a hate campaign against another VTuber. So they're making it very clear that there's some innocent VTuber who was attacked by this VTuber group, that they were the aggressors in the situation, and that is very clearly not the case. Now, in this situation, we have two primary Google Docs. That's not obviously the whole story, but you have one Google Doc that was shared about a month ago that is painting this VTuber group as these horrible harassers who were the aggressors in this situation. And it shows a lot of not safe for work content they made. They even make claims that they're sharing illegal content and breaking the law and all sorts of crazy things. And then there's a Google Doc that is a response from the girls showing the harassment they faced before they ever even responded to anything. And
dude, even freaking legal mindset got involved in this one.
Providing very, very important context about the situation. Now, what did Kat go with? Well, she chose one document to go with and completely ignored the statement from the girls. They went with this Google Doc right here, a deep dive into Lollipop, the name of this VTuber group, their individual members, and proof of all their vile behavior / views. Now, this document is an absolute dumpster fire. It is being clowned on so hard, and yet this is the primary source of her entire video. This Google Doc directs everything she says, and she believes everything in it. And you can see, the person was getting clowned on. You go into the replies, it's people making fun of them for how unserious this document is, and also how ridiculous it is, and how much it's promoting harassment and false reporting. And you can see, what a brave individual. The replies are locked. They're not even letting people respond anymore and to call out some of the faultiness of this document. And if you really want to,
this is why community notes are so important, honestly.
See how unserious this person is and also how Kat is. Look at the Google Doc itself. Here's the documents. At one point, can you see this? They have folders labeled Bambi, Direct CP, Bambi, Direct CP. They have folders titled CP. Are you kidding me? If they actually believed this stuff was CP, they would be committing multiple felonies doing this. It would be possession and distribution. These would be literally...
You're technically not wrong. If it's actually CP, you would be very much, you would very much be guilty of having it. It is a crime, for those who do not know. It doesn't matter how the frick it ends up on your computer. It doesn't matter how the frick it gets in your hands. If you have CP, it is illegal. You're committing a crime. And especially if you make a Google document and just freely hand it out to the internet on Twitter. That is straight up distributing CP. So, if your argument is that it is CP, you are committing so many crimes.
Literal felonies if they actually believe this stuff was CP. And that's what they're promoting. This is how they're trying to attack these VTubers. In fact, let's look at one of the examples here. This is an example of Riri Direct CP. This is a photo of this VTuber who is an adult holding a stuffed animal. They believe this is actual CP, which, of course, like I said...
I mean, by definition, if this is an adult woman, it's not CP. What do you mean?
They saved and then distributed and then Kat covered
on her
video. Very ridiculous.
You showed up at just the right time for that picture.
But this whole thing relies very heavily on a false narrative, a one-sided narrative of the situation where she paints this VTuber group as the aggressors in the situation and says that this Niyumi individual is the victim and someone who was totally innocent in the situation, and these Loli Vtubers went after with full force, when that is not the case.
They're behaving like children and starting smear campaigns. So if you completely omit all the Loli stuff from this, there was one creator named Yumi who made one tweet stating their opinion, and this group got so pissed they started an insane hate campaign in their Discord. They got 2 creators banned and were trying to actively target Yumi's partnership because of one tweet. If we completely omit all the Loli stuff, that is literally what it breaks down to, which is insane. And in my personal opinion, it's really stupid.
So this is the tweet that she's referring to in that clip we just watched. She says this is all she did. This is all this Niyumi person did. It was the only thing that happened, and all of a sudden, this VTuber group launched a harassment campaign against her and many others, where she said, I'm gonna throw up. Y'all can't tell me that Loli tubers don't know what they be doing. Petite women, my ass, y'all are weird. Where she has this quote from Riri saying, do you like barely legal Loli tummy? And this whole thing is ridiculous because they could.
To be fair, I feel like Naomi has a right to have her opinion on this. Like, 'cause it's weird. If it's weird, it's weird. And if she thinks it's weird, she has a right to her opinion to say that it's weird. Just like if Rinkor has the right to her opinion that it's totally fine because she's an adult and yada yada, people have a right to say that it's weird. Like, what do you mean? But we shouldn't be starting harassment campaigns. Like, leave each other the freak, like, just leave each other the freak alone. Stay on your like side of the internet, I guess.
Could have just blocked and moved on, but instead they painted them as essentially pedo bait, and then were trying to say that they're legally aged, but somehow that's problematic because of the term lolly being attached to it. But it goes way further than that. That was not the first tweet or the only tweet in the situation.
Even when it's not a lolly, like just the idea of like, you know, it's always kind of, it's always weird. Like when you have like those people, especially in those situations where people are like doing like, you remember like when even on freaking, who was it, live on freaking late night TV, they had like this whole situation where people were counting down the like hours, the minutes to when some celebrity girl turned 18. Who was that? It was like a big thing. Like, how is that not weird? It was late night, dude, I swear. Let me look this up. So, like, it's not even the fact that she's a lolly. It's the fact that she said barely legal tummy. Like, why? Like, you're taking it to a sexual place there. Like a weird. Like, it's odd. Like, why? Like, we all know. Let's not pretend like we don't know. Let's not pretend like we don't know exactly what the frick they're doing. Come on. Yeah, it looks like even the Olsen twins on late night shows. Like, it's just freaking weird. And it's weird. It's like you get what I'm saying?
You had other VTubers like this Pippin Otter individual saying this: if you are following me and support these girls, please unfollow me. I'm not comfortable with grown women acting like children and being not only extremely sexual, but using slurs as well. And they quote retweeted their group here out of thin air. Wasn't
Hold on, what do you mean using slurs though? Is that a thing? Did they actually do that?
like they did anything.
And don't get me wrong, if that's just not your flavor, fully like respect, block them, don't look at their stuff. Anybody who does like that stuff can unfollow. Like, that's fair.
They just made this call out post for no reason, calling them some sort of bait, right? And then also claiming they were using slurs. And here's their proof that these individuals were using slurs. This right here, a meme, by the way. And then Kat would also show another example of Bambi's supposed racism. The only issue here, by the way.
Yeah, no, if using like, if somebody else made the meme, like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Is that all these VTubers in question are black. So that kind of defeats everything you're saying and just shows how ridiculous this witch hunt is. But on top of that, this is just
I didn't realize that. Okay, you know what? That adds a lot of context on top of that. But to be fair, there's a lot of people who use memes like that, and at this point, we would be so screwed. The amount of YouTubers I've seen online that use the N-word was too stunned to speak. You know, like, come on. Let's be honest.
A small snapshot of the dozens, if not hundreds.
We would have to cancel so many people.
Tweets that were made in the wake of the initial call out that were saying all kinds of horrible and threatening things to these members of this VTuber group. This was before they ever made a response. On top of that, let me give you a small sample of how vile this situation got. So during this whole harassment campaign, a lot of the VTubers from the group went private. And this was the response to someone discovering that Riri, one of the members of this group, a pregnant woman, by the way, was considering or attempting to take her own life. This was a person's response to that.
And see, this is why I feel like the answer is just to it's just block, unfollow on both sides. There's no better solution here. If it, like, first of all, like, we could have a discussion on the whole lolly topic all day and all night. That's not even like, forget it. But it's like if it's not like if they're not hurting anybody, there's not actual like CP getting distributed, nothing actual crazy happening. Then it's like, bro, mind your business. Unfollow them, block them, don't look at their stuff, and anybody that's into that stuff, you can have them unfollow too. I feel like you have that right. You have that right to be like, that's weird. I don't like it. I'm gonna stay away from it. Anybody who likes that, I don't fudge with you. It's like, then you have that right. You have that right to be that way, to have that space. Do it. But you shouldn't be sending harassment campaigns, because at the end of the day, or you shouldn't be harassing people, because at the end of the day, it's still a person back there. They're not freaking doing anything. They're not doing anything that's actually, like, harming anybody. Not to the point where you bring them to wanting to unalive themselves. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe you should start thinking about the child in your belly and stop sexualizing children. You are literally perpetuating the situation that happened to you, stoking the fires of men and women who want to sexually harm children.
You said this thing, it looks like Attack on Titan.
Unhinged response to seeing someone clearly distraught about being the subject of a harassment campaign.
Would you consider this Rev behind me CP? Because that's a lolly.
Campaign. Now, going back to Kat's video, she uses this Naomi tweet as the entire basis. This is all that
Out of
they
curiosity,
did supposedly before the VTubers in question would launch a harassment campaign. However, that wasn't the only thing Naomi was doing. They were clearly stoking the flames. They were celebrating being blocked. I mean, it seems like they didn't have too much of a hard feelings about the situation. They weren't threatened or anything when they were gleefully celebrating getting blocked by these people. They were harassing, by the way. And on top of that, it seems from tweets like this, like they were encouraging people to falsely report their accounts. And they were even doing it in DMs.
Now, this is where I gotta say, I disagree. Like, stop false flagging people. Stop false reporting people. The fact that you got a false report means, like, just says so much. Like, and that's the thing. There's a big difference. We were saying this earlier, but there's a big difference between, like, and I will say this fully. That's just a child. These four right here, these are just children. If you're looking at these, you're looking at Rule 34 of these four right here, I'm judging you. I'm judging you. I'm sorry, but I'm judging you. I'm sorry, but I don't care if they're 400 years old. Like, that looks like a child to me. And that you get what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna sit here and argue. And
on top of that, it seems from tweets like this, like they were encouraging.
What I'm saying is, it's a little bit more nuanced than a lot of people make it seem. Because technically, this is also a freaking lolly.
People to falsely report their accounts, and they were even doing it in DMs. On top of that,
my issue is here now. This is where I start to have a problem. Because now it's big VTubers straight up just sending harassment campaigns, sending people to false flag them, to false report them. And for what? They're just freaking being VTubers. They're not actually, like, doing anything illegal or anything bad. Like, what the frick are they doing? They're just existing.
Someone said this, Loli, what are you scared of a little 4-letter word, when they censored it? And Yume basically gave their description saying they're fine with Loli until it's sexualized. And they replied to this user saying, keep yourself safe.
Which is a fair statement. Totally fine with Loli until it gets sexualized. Yeah, if it looks like a freaking child and it's getting sexualized, yeah, wrong. We probably have an issue there.
Now, unless you're very new to the internet, people use this phrase as a replacement for KYS, encouraging someone to game end themselves. So they're saying this person should game end themselves over just calling out the fact that this person's scared of a 4-letter word. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, of course, there was maybe
Is that a thing? Keep yourself safe? It's just like a sly way to tell somebody to unalive themselves?
To this, I don't know. I thought it was pretty obvious what they're trying to say. However, they would show up in Elara's stream. Elara earlier today had a stream where she was talking about this drama, and actually me and my wife, Darling Straub, were watching it, and Straub would confront this Nayuma girl because she showed up in the chat. She had the nerve to show up. And my wife Straub here tried to clarify, who were you directing that term to when you were saying this, keep yourself safe? Was it one of the girls, or was it one of the other users trying to participate in this conversation?
Is that actually a thing? Just like she just goes around telling people to keep yourself safe? That's just some kind of like cowardly way to tell them to unalive themselves? Yeah. What a coward! Say it with your chest, you freaking prick! Like what? I love how okay, so having your model be a cute little chibi, a cute little lolly, totally wrong, totally bad. Telling people to unalive themselves, totally fine, absolutely great. Like you go, Crud. Like absolutely, like what?
Where she would
where's your logic? Well,
she didn't say it to the girls, but she said it to a lolicon, LOL. So basically, what she was saying is, oh, I didn't say it to the girls. I just said it to a lolicon, so it was fine. So they're actively trying to encourage someone to game end themselves over fictional content. And on top of that, they would get confronted by Elara, which I give her big props.
And see, because you know damn well that if anybody in the lolly group or any of these people were to like say the same thing to her, she would have a freaking fit. Oh, she would lose her mind. I mean, what the frick? Be a freaking, like, if you're going to, like, there's just something that rubs me the wrong way. It just pisses me off when someone wants to be a coward and be like, say something without saying something. It's like, just freaking say it. Say what you mean. Like, why you gotta hide, like, behind these, you know what I'm saying? Like, cowards.
She tried to get a real explanation out of her and really confronted her on this. And this was her final response.
It's a reason why I avoid saying the N-word. The N-word. You're just getting away with saying it. Like, I keep saying the same comedian. Every time I forget a joke, I'm like, didn't Louis C.K. make that joke? It was probably Louis C.K. or Ron White, somebody. I think it was Louis C.K. who said it. It's like, you're just getting away with saying the word. If saying a word is just putting that idea, the concept into your brain, how is saying the N-word not exactly the frickin' same? You get me? As just actually saying it. Whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. Point being, just freaking say it. Like, stop with this, like, you think you're so smart with your freaking, like, I got I said it, I told you to unalive yourself, but I didn't say it, though, so you can't, it's like the whole, like, in Minecraft. I think you deserve to be butchered into pieces and thrown into a ditch where no one could ever find you ever again, and your family's gonna be sad and crying because they can't find your corpse in Minecraft. It's like, what the frick is wrong with you? You psychopath? Like, what?
I have nothing to add to that. I gave my opinion on lollies and told them to keep safe, which, unless you were born yesterday,
sorry, it
you're
just
not
annoys
buying
me.
that. So that was the one tweet This was all that Kat cited in her video as proof that this was just a harassment campaign launched by these individuals. Now, this is a Discord screenshot that was used as the proof that they were the aggressors in the situation. We now know that this response came after a wave of harassment. Now, what they say here is that they want to basically report everyone who's going after this VTuber group and that you want them to graduate. They don't care, and they say insults them, all that stuff. This was bad. This was not a good move, by the way. It's something that should be condemned. Okay, they shouldn't have responded.
Why is it censored? Hold on. I'm going public about this because my puffs are too blank. Why is that censored? What does that say? Report them, force them to graduate. I don't effing care. I want them gone. Yeah, I can agree. This is wrong. And this is somebody on the Loli side. What, trying to get her canceled or trying to get somebody canceled? Totally wrong. Not okay. I understand that you're facing like waves of hatred coming from that community, but again, you can't you can't blame the actions of other people on the content creator. Like it just doesn't work that way. I don't believe it's a very fragile bridge to cross, let's say. I can understand and give sympathy that this all started because of their video and that there's misinformation being put out there though. So I can understand the frustration there.
Like this, but the reason I bring this up is that this is portrayed as an unhinged response to one tweet, when in reality, it was a bad response to a very large level of harassment being launched by dozens, if not hundreds of users. All of that context was left out, and this is what we got. And again, this is not something to be condoned, but I think you could understand why they were so heated in this moment. And you would understand that the members of this group would apologize for this action in their Discord server, and they would immediately take it down and apologize. But this person wouldn't know this. Kat wouldn't know this because this was contained in the Google Doc released by these girls that she completely ignored. She did not make one reference to anything, not one reference to all the harassing tweets directly.
Now, so right off the bat, I gotta commend them on that apology. It's a good thing that they did apologize. I feel like a direct apology to the people that they were trying to get canceled. They were trying to get like false flagged. Would be even better, but great like it's fine. That's what, good apology. I do gotta say, if Kat is trying to be a news YouTube channel, I would suggest you actually look at all the sides of the situation and actually look at like everything and not ignore pretty important documents being put out like this.
Directed towards them, nothing. She just went with the original Google Doc by the person trying to smear them, and that is it. So I think given all this context, there is a lot to unpack here, and we got a one-sided story on...
And this does speak to a bigger discussion on how important it is, especially if you're gonna be these like news YouTube channels and you're gonna be trying to be a newscaster and news talk and news discussions. I think it is pretty important that you make sure you actually do a little bit more research than just like running a story like this, with especially if the only document that you're like reading is just a slander piece and has a lot of like misinformation, so to speak, in it. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't sit right with me.
A very controversial set of topics where a lot of people mobilized in response to this to harass and further report these individuals from this VTuber group. And the issue here, the real heart of the issue, is that this was framed in a very, very poor way, and it led to additional harassment on a situation that died down. And the bigger issue is, it wasn't until basically the end of the video where Kat ever said, please don't go out and harass these people, which is ironic because Earlier in the video, around the 10-minute mark, she says it's okay to harass people like this. So it's clearly contradictory. And on top of that, she compares the harassment, the systematic harassment that these VTubers faced, to the fact that she doesn't like soup.
The next person is Lullaby Lita. Yeah, why can't you act your age? Here's the thing. If you want other people to act their age, allegedly, and just like not harass, some harassment is deserved. If you are into children, you deserve harassment. Like, here's me. I don't like soup. A lot of people like to not hate on me, but they dog on me because I don't like soup. I know me not liking soup is a really niche opinion. Most people are going to dog on me for not liking soup. I do not like ramen. I do not like pho because there's soup in here. It is a niche opinion that I have. And I know that because I have this niche opinion, most people aren't going to agree with me. When I say, oh, I don't want to eat it because I don't like soup, I get a lot of people being like, oh my God, you don't like soup. How can you not like soup? Soup is so good. You should try it. It comes with the territory because I know I have a niche opinion. I'm not mad that people, make fun of me for not liking soup. I don't force people to understand what, like, my take, right, as to why I don't like soup. And other people don't force me to drink soup. And it is what it is. And we have a mutual existence and we call it a day. We agree to disagree on the concept of soup. And the same thing with this, like, lolly content, it's kind of the same thing. You have enjoyment or kink. And again, this is really hard for me to say because I have my own personal opinions on this. At best, you are into something that most people are not into and that most people find weird. So therefore, you should understand that it comes with a territory that you're going to get people that don't like what you do and are going to state their opinions against you. And just mind your own fucking business and move on. Starting a smear campaign because...
Again, mind your own business and move on. Meanwhile, you're running entire stories based on an article that is intended to be a slander piece with misinformation on that group. You see how you're not taking your own advice there? Like, here's that I feel like that's where a lot of the anger towards you is coming from, because you're similar. Like, another similar instance here would be very, very, like, that I would say a much bigger instance that's currently happening is the entire situation with Nux Otaku and Bunga Taiga. Another lolly YouTube, like, VTuber, or Shotokan, I guess, VTuber. Femboy VTuber, Bunga Taiga. You see, people are not mad at Nux Otaku about that whole situation because he's like an advocate against femboy VTubers. No, they're mad because he decided to run a story. He decided to, like, speak on a story and accuse Bunga Taiga of doing stuff that he's not into or doesn't want to do. Like, for those who don't know, basically, without having any actual proof or evidence or knowledge on the situation, Nux mentioned that Bunga Taiga was being accused, or basically just said that he got in trouble for, like, messing with minors, which turned out to not be true in any kind of way. What it was that Bunga Taiga had a bit of a stalker who donated a lot of money to him, and because Bunga Taiga didn't basically just, like, fall head and over heels in love with him, he pretty much went on like a fake allegation spree and just tried to get Bunga Taiga canceled, to which he is still struggling with to this very day. And so this is the issue with misinformation and just, like, running with these freaking stories without actually knowing the full context of a lot of these situations or problems or even what these people are about. You should be looking at what these VTubers themselves are making, what content they're creating, what their community is like, as opposed to just running a freaking piece based on what's basically another hit piece. You get me?
Somebody doesn't agree with you is insane because of one tweet. That's like me going out starting smear campaigns against people who like soup. You're one, fighting an uphill battle, you're not gonna win. But two, it's just dumb. This is literally on a basis of opinion.
So I don't think it really surprises anyone that in wake of this video, there would be additional consequences and harassment launched towards the members of this group, beginning with this right here. 2 of the members featured in Kat's video would be mass flagged on Twitter and their accounts would be suspended. On top of that, some people in her community were boldly sharing, and this was something she shared on stream with this screenshot, they were reporting these individuals, these VTubers, to the FBI.
Now, this right here genuinely pisses me off. Y'all are really wasting our tax dollars on this BS? Come on, bro. Get the frick out of here.
Through the electronic tip form, which, by the way, is absolutely disgusting. It is a massive waste of federal resources, resources that could go towards helping real victims of crimes. Instead, you have people at the FBI sifting through tips involving inaccurate.
Meanwhile, all these YouTubers, IRL YouTubers, that are actually trying to touch little kids, talk to little kids, EDP 445, you know, where are all these reports going? What the frick?
Actionable fictional content. What a waste.
Nobody's talking of nobody's freaking FBI reporting that.
Organizations that are dedicated towards these sorts of situations
people are so stupid,
have actively begged people to stop making false reports, to stop jamming up the systems. That is why they can't act on real tips, because they're wasting so much time on false reports. And this is something that Kat would be confronted with, and this was her response. False information spreads very quickly, so always check your sources. I said in the video, the author of the Google Doc reported them to the FBI. It wasn't me, with a silly little emoji attached to it, like so unserious. And the audacity of this individual talk about false information spreading very quickly, it's just too much. And on top of that,
it's pretty messed up that, like, she is very gleefully advocating a harassment campaign. I don't care what their preferences are, or like what the frick their weirdness is. Like, you are wasting FBI resources. You are advocating a harassment campaign. Like, we just don't need any more of this in the community. We really don't.
Many others want more clarifications. So your response seems very flippant to these FBI reports. And I just want to ask, and I never got an answer, just to clarify, do you condemn people wasting federal resources for fictional content? I couldn't get an answer on this one from Kat. But this is really the cherry on top. So over the past 24 hours, she has been facing a lot of criticism for many different reasons, and this was her response on stream.
Especially being the fact that she herself is a Shotacon. And I'm just gonna say it like it is. If she's a big Bungo Tiger fan.
Gio, I've been lurking for a while, and I don't know if you mentioned this yet. I haven't talked about the lollipop stuff. I will not talk about it on stream because I'm probably gonna make a second video about it. But my Twitch will get banned if I talk about it on stream due to how sensitive the topics are. So I'm gonna record it off stream.
That's
Didn't
what?
I'm a bit worried with all the people that are with the lollipop group organizing a mass report raid. Yeah, what are they gonna do? Mass report me? Nice try. Look, I'm gonna be fully honest, and this is gonna be mean. They're not big enough to put a dent in me, to be honest, okay? I've already called out Gideon, and I had the entirety of Gideon's Stan fan base mass report me. So that their little lolly accounts is not gonna put a dent into me. Okay.
So basically what she's saying is that her channel is so big compared to these VTubers she called out that they couldn't make a dent in her career. If I ever sounded this full of myself, it's time to retire. Okay, like this is absolutely crazy. The level of narcissism is through the roof.
And like you're messing with these people. Like you got them suspended. You're messing with their paycheck now, their livelihood. One of them is a pregnant woman with a child on the way, and you're messing with her paycheck? I can't agree with that, bruh.
And I also think a lot of this has to do with the fact that she has never faced any real controversy in terms of her content, because let's face it, for years, she made content about how to improve your numbers as a streamer. It's very, not controversial. And now she's making these very controversial videos about topics she clearly has no idea about, and she's getting criticism and she doesn't like it and she doesn't know how to deal with it, and is getting, quite frankly, pretty arrogant at the criticism being launched her way. And if you're going to say that basically you're untouchable, okay, well, you called out a very small group of VTubers. Why don't you call out Hololive next? I mean, if you really think...
And here's the thing. There are so many lollies in the community. So many. No one ever dares touch them. No.
These things are dangerous. One of the biggest VTubers in the world, in fact, the biggest
Everyone's
VTuber in
fine
the world,
with all these.
are open lolicons. So why don't you go after them next? Go after Hololive. Go after Gargura. I mean, you're untouchable, right? If you're truly believing in what you're saying, if you ignore Hololive and much bigger VTubers who support this kind of stuff, you're full of it. You're a hypocrite and you're a coward. But you say you're untouchable, so we'll wait on the big Hololive expose in the coming days, I'm sure. But on top of that, if you don't want to go after the Hololive VTubers, other big VTubers in the scene, you can go after some of the creators of the games that you openly say you play, like Nike, Genshin,
Stop.
Honkai,
No.
Azure Lane, so on and so forth.
No! Stop! You can't be real! Nike? There's so many lollies in Nike! Whoa, what? Stop. Not Woowa. Woowa's not even not that bad. Woowa's not as bad as Nike. With the lollies? Are you kidding me? Nike's way worse with the lollies. Genshin, I barely even know. Azure Lane, a lot of lollies. Arknights, not so many, not as much, not as bad. Snowbreak, I got no idea. Zenless Zone Zero, definitely got lollies. Not a huge roster though, so but definitely lollies. You kidding me? Just all the freaking sons of Caledonia, freaking just basically just a lolly biker gang.
For games that feature sexualized lolly characters, and yet you
how come you're not boycotting
these games.
How come you're not boycotting
very
them?
Hypocritical. But that is the situation for now. A very, very messy and controversial situation indeed. But as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics.
And this is how I feel like I feel like a lot of this hate or a lot of this like drama doesn't come from a genuine place of hatred for like because they're fine with it in every other place. They're fine with lollies everywhere else. It's just they want, but this particular situation they don't want. Suddenly. You get me? It feels like they're punching down. It feels like they feel like they can't be touched by this. It feels like they feel like they can get away with it. They can bully them. I don't like it. I don't like it.
In the comment section down below.
Now here's the thing. The reason why I wanted to watch this one is because there is a follow-up. I'm gonna like the video. Again, I'm gonna say this again. Even though I personally am not a fan of lolly stuff, I feel like as long as you're not breaking any freaking rules, as long as you're not breaking any laws, stay in your own freaking lane, then I don't really care because it's not real, and I don't waste my time caring about things that are not real. And you shouldn't either. Frankly. Thanks for hanging out. Like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and become a Monodachi today! I live stream all day, Monday through Friday, so go say hi! That's all for now, monos. Goodbye, and thanks for swinging by. Salut!